So, hi church, it's November the 3rd. We're in Acts 21. We're going to read verses 17 through 26. And in my Bible, this is called Paul Visits James. When we had come to Jerusalem, the brothers received us gladly. On the following day, Paul went in with us to James, and all the elders were present. After greeting them, he relays one by one the things that God had done among the Gentiles through his ministry. And when they heard it, they glorified God, and they said to him, "You see, brother, how many thousands there are among the Jews of those who have believed. They are all zealous for the law, and they have been told about you that you teach all Jews who are among the Gentiles to forsake Moses, telling them not to circumcise their children or walk according to our customs. But what then is to be done? They will certainly hear that you have come. Do therefore what we tell you. We have 4 men who are under a vow. Take these men and purify yourselves along with them, and pay their expenses, so that they may shave their heads. Thus all will know that there is nothing in what they have been told about you, that you yourself also live in observance of the law. But as for the Gentiles who have believed, we have sent a letter with our judgment that they should abstain from what has been sacrificed to idols, and from blood, and from what has been strangled, and from sexual immorality." Then Paul took the men, and the next day he purified himself along with them and went into the temple, giving the notice when the days of purification would have been fulfilled, and the offering presented for each one of them. So the church was presented with a problem. Paul's work was wonderful, many Gentile converts, but Paul taught the Gentiles that the law was irrelevant for them. And there was rumors floating around that Paul was telling the Jews to forsake the law, which was false. Paul himself actually, earlier in Acts, undertook a vow, and so we know that he was following the Mosaic laws. Now, this vow, this is a Nazirite vow, and we have these people in the Bible that are Nazirites, Samuel, Samson, and in the New Testament, John the Baptist. And a Nazirite was somebody that abstained from meat and wine and all grape products. But this Nazirite vow, they were to abstain from meat and wine for 30 days. They would do this vow voluntarily as a blessing, honoring God for a blessing that they had received at his hand. And it seems that at least 7 days of this vow had to be spent entirely in the temple courts. After the days of purification, offering had to be brought, and it was a year-old lamb for a sin offering, and a ram for a peace offering, and basket of unleavened bread cakes mixed with fine oil, and meat offered and a drink offering. And finally, the hair had to be cut and then burned on the altar, so with the sacrifice. And so this The hair had to be allowed to grow, and so this vow was a costly vow, much beyond the means of most people that would want to take it. And so it was considered an act of piety for a wealthier person to cover the expenses. After all, the people undergoing this vow had to not work while they were in the temple, at least, and they had to cover the cost of these rams and lambs and the grain offering and the meat and all of that. So it was beyond the means of most people. Now, so by doing this, Paul could show for everybody to see that he was going and following and obeying the Mosaic law. And this would hopefully put to bed all of the rumors that this was causing. Unfortunately, we know later that Paul is falsely accused of bringing Gentiles into the temple, and so this just became an opportunity for people to use against him. What strikes me about this Nazirite vow was what had to be done. It was voluntary. And so we don't offer animal sacrifices because Jesus is our sacrifice. He paid the price once and for all. But it just strikes me as how these people were willing to do so much as a voluntary sign of their receiving a blessing at the hand of God. And God has blessed us so much. And I just wonder myself, what am I willing to do? How am I willing to serve? We all need to serve sacrificially, giving sacrificially, because we can never repay all that Christ has done for us. But just showing the gratitude to God for how He has blessed us. And so let's ponder these things. That's it.